Hello and welcome back to Crafty in Spanish. Here we're going to look at a couple of things today. First of all, we're going to do some grammar. Oh, this is the grammar part, I'm afraid. But don't worry, it's not too bad. We're going to teach you some words. The first thing we're going to look at is subject pronouns, which is another way of saying I and you and he and she. And as you can see, we, you and them. And then we're going to look at some verbs, just normal verbs in Spanish. None of the funky ones, just the normal, plain, regular verbs. So, just quickly, you're going to have this here, and I'm going to go through the subject pronouns. Now, these are not used a lot, you have to admit, but they are used, right? And mainly for clarification or for emphasis, or things like that, or sometimes in questions as well. So we're going to just go through them easily, and don't worry about them. You just have to practice them, and they'll come very quickly. So I, obviously, is yo, okay. You is tú, okay. Él is he. Now remember this double L? Ella. So it's a y sound. Ella is she. Okay? And this is ello, it. But don't worry about that, because sometimes in Spanish they have a thing called gender. So many objects can be called él or ella. For example, el español. Spanish language is called el español, not ello. Ello is just for when something doesn't have any, so it's a neutral thing. Okay, but don't worry about that now, not important. I just want you to say it. So it's él, ella, ello. Okay, now we, it's a bit longer in Spanish, nosotros. Okay, and this is a bit of a new one for us English people. Well, so you're saying, it's you. Well, there's you here. Well, in Spanish they differentiate between these three are what we call single personal pronouns, subject pronouns. These are plural. Okay, so when you say we, it means more than one, obviously. And vosotros, when you say you, it's vosotros with a B, vosotros. It means you, as in like you all. Everybody. You, everybody. When your teacher talks to you, come on, you all listen to us. It's talking about that thing, vosotros. And they use that, right? When you're talking to you, but to many people. Okay, and then we have oh, sorry, I misspelled they. We have ellos, is for it's the male version, masculine, and ellas. So they, when you're talking about a group of boys, for example, ellas, a group of girls. Oh, and we'll talk about the other uses, but I just want you have to sit and learn these. So we're going to go through it again, just slowly. Yo, tú, él, ella, ello, nosotros, vosotros, ellos, ellas. Okay, so practice them, and as you see, we're going to go in it now. We're going to look at what we call regular verbs. Oh my god, too much information, I know. But don't worry. In the last lesson, I'll call it a lesson. I have to call it a lesson. We looked at this verb, hablar, to speak. Okay. Now, there are three types of verbs. Regular verbs in Spanish, right? And if you remember, you tell it's a verb by the last two letters. Okay, so the er verbs, and there's er verbs, and there's IR. So E-I-E-I-O. So you can old MacDonald. ER verbs. ER verbs. E-R-I-R-O. So there's these three types of verbs, right? Now verb is very important because once you know verbs, you can speak a lot without actually having to say things. Okay? And once you know a few of them, you can just sort of pass along saying hablar español. And most people, it's like for someone who goes to S, speak French, or speak Spanish. We know it's, do you speak Spanish? And you can use it like that. I mean, it's a bit difficult, but you can get by with a very little. But if you know verbs, you can say a lot because everything's a verb is involved because it's an action, obviously. You can point to indicate what and use a verb to speak about the action. So we're going to do a thing and it's called conjugation. Now conjugation, it basically means and if you think in English, to be, verb to be, you go I am, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, they are. Okay? Now the I, you, he, she, that's the same for all verbs. And like English, when we took the subject pronouns, that's the same as Spanish for everything. But Spanish is a bit like our verb to be. They change sometimes. So in English, it's not I, it's not yo hablar, tu hablar, no. What happens is you have to conjugate the verb. The conjugate sounds weird, but it's not. It just means in Spanish, in this sense, you change the ending, right? So the endings change. And when you, because the endings are different, why is that there? Okay. Sometimes you don't even have to say the subject pronouns. So if you remember in our last class, we did es, like that, es posible. Yes? No, we didn't say it is possible, we just said es, because it's taken, it's understood that you mean it is. It, you know, by the context, and the context is important as well. So we're going to just look at a verb, the first one. We looked at, es posible hablar español, if you require. Do you remember that? Es posible hablar español? What if you want to say, I speak Spanish? Okay. Well, you don't have to, you can say yo and this, right? Now, remember the stress rules. The stress is on the second last syllable because either ends in a S, an N, or a vowel. Get away this pesky little menu. Ooh. Alright, so generally, for example, I'm going to say it. Hablo. Right? This is silent, remember? H is silent. Hablo. So if I want to say I speak Spanish, hablo español. Hablo español. Okay? Hablo español. And that's it. Now, remember we could ask a question by our intonation. Now if you want to say, do you speak Spanish? You do, ¿hablas español? Remember with the intonation? ¿Hablas español? And that's like, do you speak Spanish? Or ¿hablas inglés? Do you speak English? Okay, so there you've got your hablas. Okay, now habla is for the third person. This is the third person. Okay, now remember this is the stress. Hablamos, that's we speak. Habláis, oh, we have a diphthong here. Habláis español. Now if you're talking to more than one person, habláis inglés, Do you speak English? You're in Spanish and you go habláis inglés to more than one person. Y hablan, they speak. For example, hablan español in España, in Spain, is they speak Spanish in Spain. Hablan español in Mexico, in Mexico, Mexico, arriba. Okay, so this is the basic things, and this is what you call conjugation. You're matching up this ending, okay, with this, what we call pronoun, and the subject. You're the subject, or we, or them, or you. Okay, I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Okay, so that's the basic reasoning behind conjugation. It sounds a stupid word for pairing up the right pronoun with the right verb and the way it's spelled. I think that's the easiest way to do it. So there's three types, right, of regular verbs. There are irregular verbs where you have to change some things, but generally there are these regular verbs, and there are some that end in AR, some that end in ER, and some that end in IR, right? So hablar, obviously, is the AR verb. Now we have another one called here, comer, to eat. So we have, for example, consumables. And think of something that, you know, that can remind you of comer, right? Come to eat in my house. Come, because it's got the word come. Come over to eat. Come over to eat. Comerte. Okay. And then there's IR, which is, in this is to live. Now remember the V is like a B, so it's vivir. Now you're probably living the vida loca. Vida is life. Living the crazy life is the old terrible song by, what do you call him? I forgot his name. Senor Martin. Okay, and that's to live. And this ends in IR. So let's look at this ER verb. So the end is I eat, is yo como, you eat, tú comes. He, she, or eat is come. Comemos, coméis. Remember the diphthong, is, is, and they, ellos, ellas, comen. Okay, so, let's say, to say a lot in Spanish, you say mucho, right? Now, if I want to ask, do you eat a lot? I would use it with the intonation. Remember the intonation? ¿Comes mucho? That's, do you eat a lot? ¿Comes mucho? ¿Comes mucho? ¿Como? Sí, como mucho. Yes, I eat a lot. And that's true, I do. No, I don't, actually. Yes, I do. Don't worry. No, I don't. I'm only kidding. But I do. And vivir, right? So it'd be vivo, vives, vive, vivimos, vivéis. This is a difficult one. Vivéis. And the accent is there as well. So vivéis, viven, viven. Okay. So vivo, vives, vive, vivimos, vivéis, viven. Right? So the accent here is on this one, this one, this one, and it changes to here, and it changes to here, and it comes back to here. Okay, and it's the same with these as well. So the accents are all the same. So these are regular verbs. Now to show you, probably can't read these, but don't worry. These are some verbs I've just copied off the web. These are AR verbs. There you go. We have hablar, to speak, talk. And these are just some, and I'll tell you the website. It's intro to Spanish. I just googled it quickly just so I could get a quick list, because writing all them out, no, too much. Okay, so if you want to learn, aprender. Okay, so for example, if you want to say I live in, and in Spanish is en. Okay, so for example, vivo en España, I live in Spanish, right? Now if you want to ask the question, do you live in Spain? ¿Vives en España? Okay, ¿vives en España? Sí, vivo en España. And that's it. Or vivimos en España. Vivimos en España. We live in Spain. Okay. And this is simply it. This is conjugation. So let's pick, I'm just going to find a word. Quick word with how we can use. There's one. You might hear. So we'll do this one. Bailar, which means to dance. Let's dance. Okay. So if I found that, I look at the thing, and how do you practice it? Well, you practice it by conjugating it. So you would say I dance, which is bailo. Now this is it's got a diphthong, bye. So it's just like bye. Bailo. You dance, bailas. He or she dances. It, not so much. Baila. Bailamos. Bailáis. Bailan. Okay. Yo bailo. Tú bailas. Él baila. Nosotros bailamos. Vosotros bailáis. Pardon, sorry about that. Bailáis. And ellas bailan. Now what I'm saying there is I dance, you dance, he dances, we dance, they dance. And that's how you practice it. You get the verb and you just go through it. And remembering where the stress is. So for example, bailo, the stress is on the first one. Bailo, I dance. Bailo mucho, I dance a lot. If I want to say, do you dance a lot? ¿Bailas mucho? Sí, bailo mucho. So yes, I dance a lot. See, it's not too bad. It's easy, isn't it? If I want to say, he dances a lot. Él baila mucho. Él baila mucho, sí. Sí, baila mucho. He dances a lot. Okay. Nosotros bailamos. Yes. We dance. If you want to ask a few people, vosotros bailáis mucho, and you're asking more than one person. Vosotros bailáis mucho. Y them over there, ellos bailan mucho. So that's how you do it. And you can pick a verb. You can get any of these lists. You just go on the thing. Aprender, learn, with ER. I'm not going to do it, but let's do it here. Aprender. We have aprender, which is, to learn. So you're going to you say aprendo español, because you take off this and you put this. Simple as that. Okay, so you look at the pattern. You take off this and you put on that, and that's it. Oh, and I didn't underline these. Let's underline these. So when you underline them, you're there. You see, that's all you have to learn. These things that are underlined. Yeah. So if someone says to you, aprendes español, now there's a little bit of intonation, so you know it's a question. ¿Aprendes español? Sí, aprendo español. Okay. Aprendo mucho español. I learn a lot of Spanish. Okay, there you go. I'm not going to say much more on this because basically you have to look on Google and look for Spanish regular verb lists, and not regular verb lists. If you Google that, you'll find lots, and you can copy them. And what I would do is, for example, I would get a new page here and go here verbs, and maybe I would copy, let's see, copy this, and I would put all my verbs in here, and like this, and maybe just knock up the selector, select them all, and I don't know, maybe knock up the font a bit. That's better, I can see it now. So I know I can look abusar, to misuse, to abuse, acabar, to complete, acampar, to camp, to go camping, acelerar, to accelerate, to hurry. You see, aceptar, to accept. Okay. Yo acepto. I accept. Yo acepto. So these are your, where are we going? Yeah, there you go. So these are your things, and look for this. Remember, you have to put some effort in and do it. I can't give you everything. So you have to learn your verbs. The best advice I can give is listen to what you speak in English and what verbs you use the most in English. Okay? Because the way you change, the way the verbs you use, you'll want to use in Spanish a lot. So for example, speak, talk, okay? Now there's also irregular verbs, and they take a bit more time. So, but for the regular verbs, this is how you begin. Once you understand that the irregular verbs are very easy. You have to learn different ways of remembering them. So it's more of a memory trick than it is a thing, because generally these stay the same, but there might be just a little change maybe in this. Maybe they put a diphthong here, or they put an extra letter in, something like that. It's not too bad. It's never as difficult as people say. Don't listen to people. So there you go. Spanish regular verb lists. Look for that. And any questions or comments, please put them down, and I'll try and answer them. That's what I'm here for. And now think of what you can do now. You can say 4 different ways of affirmative, question, negative, a question, negative, and you can use these 3 verbs. Yeah. So, for example, you don't eat a lot. No comes mucho. No comes mucho. Yeah, you see. And if you want to ask the question, do you not eat a lot? No comes mucho. No como mucho. No como mucho. Pues comes mucho. You eat a lot. Yeah? And there you go. Simple as pie. So I hope you get something out of this, and we'll see you in the next class. So the classes are going to be a bit like this. One class where we introduce something and it's about speaking, and then in the next one with maybe focusing on the grammar or a certain point, hopefully, and hammer it home to you. And you can study this. Just rewind and listen again and again. Always listen. Listening is the best thing. Reading is very difficult because you don't hear the sounds. Listening is the best way. So even if it's my bad accent, you still hear a bit. Okay? So rewind, listen. It's the most important part. Okay, well, I'll see you in the next class. Oh, I say class, I mean lesson. Aye, crafty. Okay. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.